Hi, Rebecca. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much
Oh,
for your
it's so
time
nice to meet
today.
you.
First of all, I have my little grape juice here with me.
I was saying, I was like, I should pour a glass of wine. And then I realized it's 8:40 in the morning here and it's
Yes,
probably a
it's
little
early.
early to start. So I
Um,
have tea instead.
I also have tea.
Perfect.
Um, I was wondering, how much wine did you actually drink while shooting A Vineyard Romance?
We drink quite a bit. So we actually had one of the gals whose family owned the vineyard that we were shooting at, working on the crew with us. And we all just became like a family with the family that owned the vineyard. And it's funny, like the vineyard kind of becomes almost like a character in the movie. It's such like an integral role and fixture in it. And so, yeah, at the end of the night, having a glass of wine waiting for me was like such a special treat.
So there was actually wine in the glasses while we were shooting.
Not while we were shooting, but after we were done rolling.
Right. And your character's favorite is a Pinot, which is even mentioned in the German title of the movie. Do you have a favorite wine yourself?
um, you know what? I love a Pinot Noir. Like our region where we live, Pinot Noirs are kind of what we're known for. But in shooting the movie, I fell in love with Chardonnay. I was never a white wine drinker and it converted me. But I've never met a glass of wine I didn't like.
That is true. So I'm guessing you already had some knowledge about wine before, but did you learn anything like while shooting or maybe while preparing for the role?
Yeah, I mean, I worked in, as every actress I think has worked in bars and restaurants for many years, and so I have a lot of experience serving wine and a lot of experience drinking it. I think what was just the most special is like getting to see the land being worked on and getting to see the people that run the tasting room and getting to like really get a feel for this space of like all the things that go on behind the scenes of creating wine. Like it's such a passion when it's done right. It's like such a community like passion project, and everyone that was on that vineyard like plays such an important part of making it a success. And so it was just like really neat to be welcomed into that. Yeah.
I thought it was interesting because I had no idea like the grapes they were bitter when you wanted to like buy. I love that part.
We actually like tried them. We are like, no, we're good.
No,
No, thank you.
um, Speaking of your roles, Samantha's dream is to write romance novels, and when she announces that to her boss in the movie, the answer is like, "Oh, that's disappointing," which I thought was quite funny, but also I believe that we could all need such lighthearted, feel-good movies like A Vineyard Romance at the moment. What are your thoughts on rom-coms as a genre?
It's so funny just the way that you said that with like with everything going on right now. And I love really intense, really challenging like material to watch. I like, you know, things that make me feel like really deep emotions or make me, you know, question the universe or what have you. But especially in such like an uncertain time that we've all gone through, I think just like things like going back to your hometown, like over COVID, I actually went back to my hometown. So like I spent 4 months back with my dad and just kind of like reconnecting with the simplicity of things. And I think like these movies do that. It kind of reminds you of like the fundamentals of what's really important, like family and love and where you grew up and community and stuff like that. So like I do think there's a really special place for them, especially right now in a world that feels like so uncertain and so dark.
Absolutely. They just feel like safe and warm. And do you have
Totally.
a favorite rom-com that you've watched time and time again?
Oh man. I love like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. All like, I feel like there was a really great time in like the late 90s, early 2000s where it was just like they were coming out all the time and they were all so good. And I also like a lot of times in a rom-com, there's really wonderful like female friendships. You know, it's like you have your person, and a lot of the movies, like we all get that. We all know what it's like to like get on the phone and vent to our friends. And I feel like that's always kind of like a side story that doesn't get enough attention. And what was really neat about our movie is that Lisa, who plays my best friend, is actually a really good friend of mine. And so I was like, no acting required. Yeah.
And that's true, that love isn't just like loving your special other. It's also friendship. And I saw that you have a dog, right? That's also love.
Love of my life. Yeah. There was a dog that lived with the family that ran the vineyard. So we had like a little extra like mascot running around, and she just kind of like made the days go so much easier.
Love that. Are there any other genres that you would like to explore more of as an actress?
I think I'm such an I'm like try to be like a really happy, bubbly, positive person. So it would be really fun to do something really kind of dark and challenging, and to kind of tap into those sides of me that can be in there, but like most of the world honestly doesn't really get to see. But I also just really like really honest slice of life. Like the reason I love acting is just the connection with someone else. And so just any kind of material that really nurtures that. Like it'd be fun to be a superhero too.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
But something that is mentioned in the movie is that life doesn't always go according to plan. Was it always your plan to become an actress? Like it was Samantha's dream to become a writer?
You know what? I grew up in a family that was just really into the arts in general. So sorry. That's actually not my dog. I'm at a friend's place right now. Yeah, like film and TV and musical theater and all those things were always like a really huge, just kind of like escape and topic of conversation for my family. And I went to drama class in, the 8th grade, and I just fell in love. And it was kind of like a safe place for me. No matter what was going on in my life, I could go to like hang out in the drama department. And that's kind of where I created my own little like family in school. And so, yeah, long story short, I didn't know exactly that it was what I wanted to do from a young age, but I knew that I wanted it to be a part of my life. And then I guess like I grew up in a small town like Sam, where pursuing your dreams wasn't really something that you could even wrap your head around. It was like a small town and everyone kind of follows like a certain path. And so for me to actually go for it took something else, but I just always knew I would be involved in it somehow.
And here you are.
Yeah. There's so many similarities to Sam and I. It's crazy. And like just falling in love. I fell in love with my hometown again in the last couple of years too, like she did. And yeah, it's pretty neat.
You were saying something that also the movie reminded me of was the importance of communication, because the conflicts in the movie arise from the characters not communicating with each other. How important was communication for the making of A Vineyard Romance, or for acting in general, maybe?
Oh, it's everything. I was so blessed. Like I love shooting movies away from, I live in Vancouver, and it's so great to shoot movies away because you all get to kind of separate from your lives and create your own sort of world when you're shooting away. And so like Marcus and I, every night, we'd get together. He was such a rock for me. Like we'd get together, we'd have a glass of wine, we'd go over our lines for the next day. And like, we were able to nurture such a beautiful friendship. And he was just like such an instant support system for me. Lucy, our director, is like phenomenal. She's such a blast. She's such a she knows exactly what she's doing. And she communicates it like so eloquently. And so like the friendship that we all created, I feel like it just made shooting it so seamless. Like, and that doesn't always happen. Like it was really something rare and something like really beautiful that we were able to like capture. And I think it shows, like, you can tell like all these people really actually cared about each other. Yeah, it was like a once in a lifetime experience for sure.
I seen you posted some behind the scenes pictures on your Instagram, and it seems like you guys had a great time. What was, besides that and the wine, what was your favorite thing about shooting A Vineyard Romance? Or like, what are you taking away from it?
I mean, we still all talk, and it was just like in those down times when it was like, you know, we'd be on a lunch break or something, and often like everyone's tired, you want to go and have your own space or do whatever, but it was like we all just like wanted to hang out all the time. And so like on the weekends we all hung out all the time. Like I'm in Seattle right now, but when I get home, Lucy and I are gonna link up, and just the relationships. Tanya, who played my mom, like, which is insane because she looks like she could be my sister. She's so beautiful. And I was like, this doesn't seem right. But like her and I still are in touch, and then even the family at the Vineyard, like Matt, who plays Liam's brother, him and I are dear friends. We shot another movie in Kelowna this year. We went back and visited and everything. So gosh, there's so much I'll take away and that I hold dear from that shoot. Yeah.
It doesn't even sound like it was work.
Every day I was like, this seems insane that I'm getting paid to do this. I feel like I should be paid to be here. And it's just the most breathtaking surroundings you can possibly imagine. Like, yeah.
I can see why people would want to get married over there.
Totally. Hopefully it works out better than it did for them.
Right. For Heather, who in the movie is Liam's fiance. And we were talking about communication, and she pretty much just, I would say maybe even overshares on social media. How big of a tool has social media been for you specifically for your career, or what's your relationship with it?
It's tricky. I'm not the best at it, to be honest. I think for me, what's the most important is that, of course, it's a tool. Of course, it's a platform. You know, man, the messages I've got from people that have watched the movie around the world are like, it just makes your heart so happy. But if I can, I want to always try to avoid like having it be curated in a way that doesn't represent me. So like, you're going to see a lot of pictures of my dog. You're going to see the book I'm reading. You're going to see me gush about my family. Like, to me, the most interesting things about me are the people that I love. And so or animals that I love. So a lot of my social media is that. And still for me, it's a way to keep in touch with people back from home where I left to pursue my dreams. So, yeah, I think we all have a tricky relationship with social media. I will never be a Heather. I know that. That would stress me out so much. It is like having people that have watched the movie be able to connect with me through it has been like such a neat experience. And so in that regard, it's pretty cool.
That's amazing. And the movie is about putting the past in the past and moving on. And my last question for you on that note, what's next for you? What can you tell us?
Oh man, there's a couple things I have coming down the pipeline. I actually don't know what I'm even allowed to say. But my life is a giant question mark right now. And I think these last couple of years like taught us that that's okay. And so I'm just kind of ready for whatever comes. Like, the best laid plans go awry. And so, yeah, I guess I'm kind of like Sam in that I just like, she follows her heart. And that's sort of like even something that I kind of learned from her and like gain inspiration from, is just like, that's going to lead you. It's never going to lead you somewhere that you're not meant to go. And so, yeah, just kind of taking it one day at a time.
Rebecca, thank you so much for your time. It was lovely speaking with you. I wish you much success and all the best with your future projects. Can't wait to see
You
you as a
so
super.
wonderful. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Have a great night.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye.
Bye.